Let's take a look at the simple example here. When we have a fraction like 1/2 plus 5/2. I see some students online, nobody have a microphone today, so you just have to respond by chatting. How do you add these? If you have the number at the bottom of the fraction the same, in this case it's 2, so when you go and enter your answer, and that should be a simple one. We keep what we have at the bottom of fraction is the same number. So we simply add the number at the top of the fraction. So we have 6/2. If you have a variable, like if I have 1/x plus 5/x, okay, those of you are logged in, go ahead and enter your answer. Those of you viewing this session later, since I'm recording it, you are not going to see the students respond at this point, so I just have to read it and tell you. Everyone's saying is equal to 6/x, which is correct. We add what we have at the top of the fraction, and then we keep x here as your common denominator, so it would be 6/x. So if you have another example, 1/x minus 1, so we could have expression at the bottom of the fraction. So this still would be 1 plus 5 over, instead of x, we just have x minus 1. So as long as the number at the bottom of the fraction are the same, you just keep that and you just simply add or subtract what you have at the top of the fraction. That's a simple one. What if they're not the same? What if you have 1/2 plus 5/3? And once again, those of you who are logged in, go ahead and tell me, how do you handle this? How do you add these? What do we have to find first? As you see, the numbers are not the same here in this case. So what do we need to find? I see students are typing here the answer. They're saying that they have to find the LCD. That's correct, least common denominator, or LCM, sometimes referred to least common multiple. And in this case, that is simply 2 times 3, which is equal to 6. So in this case, we need to multiply the first fraction here by a factor to make 2 equal to LCD. So we need to multiply it by 3/3. And then have to multiply the second fraction here by a multiple, so we get the same number as 6 at the bottom of the fraction, so we have to multiply by 2/2. So in this case, we would get 3/6 plus 10/6. As you notice here, that 3/6 is the same as 1/2, so we don't change the value of the first fraction because we only multiply it by 1. 3/3 is equal to 1. So as 10/6. 10/6, this is still the same as 5/3 because we just multiplied by 1. So in this case, it would allow us to add these by adding what we have at the top of the fraction again. So it would be 13/6. When we have a variable, if I have 1/x plus 5/x minus 1. Let me ask those of you who are logged in, what would be the LCD in this case? What is the LCD? LCD is equal to what? Since nobody have a microphone today, so you just have to type your answer and I read it for everyone else who's viewing this later. So I see a couple of you give me an answer. I have one answer. Patricia, she says x minus 1. Chanel says is x. Anyone else wants to tell me what the LCD is between x and x minus 1? So far, I haven't received the correct answer yet. Correct with a question mark so you don't know. Okay, as you see here, what did we do here to find the LCD? The LCD between 2 and 3, we said that we said that's the product of those two. We said that is equal to 2 times 3, which we came up with the number 6. Well, here it's very similar. Instead of 2, I have x. Instead of 3, I have a different number like x minus 1. So the LCD must be also the product of these two, just like the LCD was the product of 2 times 3. So the LCD would be the product of these two. So that's what we have here. The LCD then would be equal to x times x minus 1. Okay? So in this case, we need to multiply the first number by what? First fraction by what? Remember, we want to make these two look like the LCD, like we did here. We made 2 and 3 look like 6, so we have to multiply the first fraction by, let's see the response from the students in the forum. Chanel says multiply by x minus 1. Shanique says multiply by x minus 1 over x minus 1. Exactly. You have to multiply by a factor of 1. So don't forget, you have to multiply it by x minus 1 over x minus 1. So we don't want to change the value of this. What do we multiply the second fraction with? So what's missing here? Okay, I get a response x over x. Very good. Not just x, x over x. Has to be a factor of 1. So in this case, the first one would turns into x minus 1 over the LCD, which is x times x minus 1, plus 5x over x times x minus 1. So there we have the same number at the bottom of the fraction now, which I can write it down as x times x minus 1. And now I can add or subtract what I have at the top of the fraction, which would be x minus 1 plus 5x. Then I have to combine like terms at this point and see if I can reduce even more. So I have x plus 5x, that gives me 6x minus 1. And if this is factorable, you factor and reduce. In this case, it's not. So that's your final answer.